How's it going, eh? I'm Brad from Canada. Let's get you up to speed on Severance, Season 2, Episode 3. On a long and lonely highway. Yeah, I said it. Miss Cobell Selvig is fearfully awoken by a passing truck, presumably on her way to her next location and position within Lumen. Mark gets ready for work and sets his watch to time how long it will take him from the time he leaves his car in the Lumen lot until he is in the elevator succumbing to his innie self. The MDR crew, armed with hand-drawn pictures of Miss Casey, split up to search other divisions of Lumen. Mark and Helly search for the Goat Man. Dylan is asked to go to the break room, but says he will later as he is currently in a groove with his work. Irving seems apprehensive, yet is sent to O&D. Mark and Helly share the most awkward of awkward, uncomfortable, obtuse, lumbersome, tricky, uncomfortable moments ever put on film while looking for the Goat Man. Milchek angrily discovers Mark's discarded balloons on his way to his office. Irving confides in Dylan that he has recreated the pictures that his Audi had painted and asks Dylan to accompany him to find the hallway he's painted. Dylan politely declines and tells Irving he should go himself for, stealth reasons.
Stealth?
Miss Wong invites Dylan to accompany him somewhere. Mr. Milchek arrives at his office and finds Netta there grinning like a Cheshire cat, as she always is with her patronizing appearance. She interrupts Mr. Milchek as he was about to speak, letting him know that she has the board there to speak to him through her and that annoying earpiece. She presents him a gift of paintings by the board, and as a white guy, I'm not truly comfortable talking about this, but they are paintings of established Lumen founders retconned and race-swapped as people of color.
Oh my.
Milchek is surprised and somewhat bewildered by this gift, but Natalie assures him the board is just attempting to make him feel appreciated and connected with the Lumen history. Hey, remember when I said Mark and Ellie had the most uncomfortable thing ever put to film? Yeah, scratch that. I think it's this. Back on that long and lonesome highway, yeah, I said it again. We find Miss Cobell Selvig traveling to the place called Salt Neck, but she reconsiders, pulls a U-turn, and heads straight back to where she was from. Mark and Helly discover the goat room, but no goat man and no goats. However, they do find a small corridor leading to another room. They have to call through it as presumably it's made for goats. Look out for the poop.
Careful, there's poop.
Okay.
They emerge from the small hallway to discover a giant grassed area complete with hills and goat livestock running about. And a creepy as all, giant ginger wearing a goat head, as well as a giant threatening woman brandishing shears asking Mark and Helly, "Are you here to kill me?" Mark and Helly introduce themselves as members from MDR and ask, "What is this place?" The giant woman says,
Mammalians nurturable.
I had her say that because my tongue can't form those words. They assure the giant woman that they mean her no harm and they just want to talk. Irving travels to O&D with the picture of Miss Casey and comes upon Felicia. She says it's good to see him and lovingly embraces him. Back high on the hills with the angry goat herder, Mark and Helly present the hand-drawn picture of Miss Casey and ask about her whereabouts. The giant woman insists she's never seen Miss Casey.
We don't abide such fripperies here.
She insists Mark and Helly should take their picture and leave, but Mark defiantly says he's not leaving until his questions are answered. Frustrated, the giant woman snatches up and rings a cowbell, because that makes sense, and summons the rest of the goat folk, who have a certain unique, almost feral look about them. The giant woman warns, "You should have left." Dylan enters the renovated security room and is greeted by a wall of video monitors depicting him and pictures of a woman he does not know. The woman from the video screen is in the room with him, and Dylan is informed that,
through good behavior and output, you've earned an 18-minute visitation event with your Audi's wife.
under strict surveillance, Dylan and Gretchen awkwardly speak, and she informs him a little of his Audi self.
He dumb?
Alicia and Irving bond as they reminisce with stories about Bert. Irving shares his notebook drawings that he has done of Bert, one every day since he couldn't see him. She then discovers a drawing he has done and asks, "How do you know about the export hall?" She tells him they used to send a lot of shipments there and go themselves, but now there's a guy sent there for them. Back high on the hills with a not-so-friendly goat herder, Mark and Helly are surrounded by the curious, let's call them curious-looking goat folk. As the giant woman silently discusses with a coworker what next step to take, Helly shows the goat folk Miss Casey's picture, asking if anyone has seen her. Mark pleads to the group of the importance of finding her, as it's a threat to all innies. If they can simply erase a person from their department, they can do it from any department.
And if we let this happen to Miss Casey, then who's going to step up when it happens to us?
The giant woman says Miss Casey used to do her sessions in their husbandry tanks, and the goat folk express their affinity for her. The giant woman says that she was retired, just like they said, but if Mark and Helly want to pursue their search, they will get no resistance from the goat folk. Mark and Helly are then asked by the goat folk to show their bellies. Mark and Helly comply, and the goat folk are both relieved and curious as to why they don't have pouches, an internal rumor from a previous season between departments. Mark and Helly get the hell out. Dylan and Gretchen say their goodbyes with pleasantries and embrace, and more awkwardness ensues. We then flash to Dylan's home life, where him and his children are watching an old episode of Danger Mouse. Gretchen leaves, asks Dylan if he has taken care of the cookies for one of his kids' classes, and he has not. She then exasperatingly explains to him how to do it and how simple it is. Perhaps he is dumb. Natalie then shows up at Devin and Rickon's home, much to Rickon's delight as someone is paying attention to him. She states that his book has made it onto the lumen floor and could be beneficial for innies after few alterations are made. Devin is not happy at her appearance, however Rickon is. As I said, someone is paying attention to him. Devin excuses herself angrily. We see Mark and Devin doing some arts and crafts and discussing Natalie's proposal to Rickon about his book. Mark is not impressed. Mark is gluing felt to a high-powered halogen light, and he says he needs to see the image for 2 minutes and 18 seconds, as he timed it earlier in the episode. Mr. Milchek works into the night and disgustingly looks at the Lumen gift and chooses to hide them away in a storage locker rather than display them. Innie Mark attempts to use the halogen glue job and burn the image into his retina while parked in his car. Cobell Selvig presents herself to Audi Helly as she is leaving work and states that if she wants her back, it will have to be on her terms, as she is very crucial to the Cold Harbor project. Her terms are, she needs to be floor director, which means Mr. Milchek is out. She insults Helly's position as nepotism. Helly dresses her down a little, but calls Natalie and invites Cobell Selvig to join her so they can all speak to the board together. Cobell Selvig flees after getting a bad feeling and seeing the menacing security guard who accompanies Helly. Mark continues attempts to burn the image into his retina and is surprised by Ragabi.
Jesus Christ!
Are you trying to burn a message to your Annie?
Telling him his plan will not work on many levels, but says she has an easier way. By reintegration, as she has gotten better at it, and sells Mark on the idea, telling him his wife was still alive the last time she saw her. Mark agrees enthusiastically as he wants to see his wife. Mark goes with her and undergoes a procedure to reintegrate, which looks both advanced and rather basic on a Radio Shack level, asking questions indicative to the original questions Helly was asked during her introduction last season. We end with the process looking to be successful. Now you're up to speed. We'll see you next week.